Ever wonder why your homemade cinnamon rolls never taste as good as you remember from childhood? Spoiler alert, it's not your baking skills, it's your cinnamon. While you've been blaming yourself for mediocre baked goods, the real culprit has been sitting in your spice cabinet all along. Some cinnamon brands are so bad they've been recalled by the FDA for lead contamination. Others are just expensive disappointment in pretty packaging. Here's the thing, we're not just talking about bland cookies. Some of these brands can literally poison you. Others charge premium prices for bottom tier quality. So let's rank 8 cinnamon brands from absolute worst to the one that's actually worth your money. Smash that subscribe button because we're about to save you from some seriously dangerous spice decisions. Number 8, Supreme Tradition. Ground cinnamon. Supreme Tradition. Ground cinnamon was sold at Dollar Tree for $1.25 until the FDA stepped in with multiple recalls. Starting in March 2024. This is what happens when a company prioritizes rock bottom pricing over your health. What you get is pale, dusty ground cassia that barely registers as cinnamon. The flavor is flat and stale, more like brown dust with delusions of grandeur. Opening the jar produces zero cinnamon smell, and the texture is coarse and clumpy. The FDA recalled multiple lots with lead levels between 2.03 and 3.36 parts per million, more than triple New York's recall threshold. Consumer Reports confirm this as one of the worst offenders. The parent company stopped making all Supreme Tradition products after the recalls. Supreme Tradition exists because dollar stores need rock bottom prices, and some manufacturers will cut every corner to hit that price point. They're banking on you being too broke or too uninformed to realize you're buying contaminated spice filler. You're paying $1.25 for the privilege of consuming heavy metals. When the FDA has to pull your product multiple times, you've created a cautionary tale. Number 7, Great Value Ground Cinnamon. Great Value Ground Cinnamon costs around $2 to $3 and delivers exactly what you'd expect from Walmart's obsession with slashing costs. Cinnamon that tastes like the idea of cinnamon without any actual flavor. What you get is generic ground cassia from whatever supplier offers the lowest bid. The flavor is bland and one-dimensional, like someone described cinnamon to a robot. You have to practically inhale the jar to smell anything. The only compliment we can offer is that the texture is decent. Lead content sits at 0.79 parts per million, meaning Consumer Reports recommends limiting yourself to a quarter teaspoon daily. At roughly $2, you're paying budget pricing for budget quality. Customers say tastes like cardboard and had to use triple the amount. Great value exists to undercut name brands on price, which means Walmart sources whatever costs the least with zero consideration for quality. They're banking on you not knowing what good cinnamon tastes like. You're paying $2 for the ghost of cinnamon's memory. Number 6, Badia Ground Cinnamon. Badia Ground Cinnamon comes in that distinctive bottle with oversized shaker holes. Built its reputation in Hispanic communities as the bold alternative, but bold has crossed into harsh. What you get is coarse ground cassia with a confusing flavor profile. The taste is sharp, almost sour, with unexpected tartness that feels like a mistake. The aroma hits your nose like a slap rather than a warm hug, and the grainy texture doesn't blend smoothly. Lid content tested at 1.03 parts per million, above New York's recall threshold. At $3 to $4, that's mid-range pricing for bottom-tier quality. Reviewers describe it as too harsh, almost fruity but not in a good way, and weirdly sour. Badia survives by targeting shoppers who assume stronger means better, combined with nostalgia value in Hispanic markets. The extra large shaker holes force you to use more product, which just means wasting mediocre cinnamon faster. You're paying $4 for cinnamon having an identity crisis. But if you think aggressive cinnamon is bad, wait until you taste the brand that's all style and zero substance. Number 5, Target Good and Gather Ground. Cinnamon Good and Gather is Target's attempt to convince you their store brand is elevated above Walmart's, complete with minimalist packaging that screams I shop at Target, not Walmart. Costs $3 to $4 and sits on beautifully organized shelves. Too bad the marketing budget didn't extend to the actual product inside. What you get is fine ground cassia and packaging that looks expensive. The flavor is mild and one-dimensional, inoffensive to the point of being pointless. The aroma is pleasant but weak. Their only redeeming quality is the fine, consistent texture. Lead content sits at 0.56 parts per million. At $3 to $4, you're paying Target's markup for Walmart quality cinnamon. Reviews say decent but nothing special, and expected more from Target. Good and Gather exists because Target shoppers want to feel like they're making better choices than Walmart shoppers, even when buying identical quality with prettier branding. They're banking on you paying extra for the Target experience, not quality. You're paying a Target premium for Walmart quality wrapped in Instagram-worthy packaging. If this is already saving you from bland baking, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so you don't miss what's next. Number 4, Trader Joe's Ground Cinnamon Trader. Joe's Ground Cinnamon represents the store's commitment to decent quality at fair prices. Priced at $2.99, this has developed a quiet following among the Trader Joe's faithful. It's reliably good enough, which honestly is sometimes all you need. What you get is consistent ground cassia with a balanced profile. The flavor has mild sweetness and classic cinnamon taste without surprises. The aroma is warm and inviting, and the texture is fine, consistent powder. Lead content sits at 0.83 parts per million, safe with standard portion control. At $2.99, the price to quality ratio is genuinely solid. Customers say solid everyday cinnamon and reliable for baking. It outperforms most store brands and costs less than McCormick with about 85% of the flavor quality. Trader Joe's succeeds by cultivating fierce brand loyalty and delivering products that don't disappoint. This cinnamon is a perfect example. They're banking on you trusting the TJ's brand, and frankly, it works. You're paying $3 for the reliable Honda Civic of cinnamon. It won't win awards, but it won't let you down. Number 3, McCormick Ground. McCormick Ground Cinnamon is the industry standard, the benchmark, the cinnamon your grandmother used. Founded in 1889, McCormick has spent over 130 years perfecting mass-produced spices. What makes this particularly impressive is delivering reliable quality at a budget price point for over a century. What you get is ultra-fine ground China cassia with that classic profile. The flavor is sweet and warm with subtle nutmeg notes. The aroma is immediately recognizable and comforting. The texture is silky, smooth powder that blends seamlessly. Lead content sits at 0.76 parts per million. At $2.77 for over 2 ounces, it's actually cheaper than most store brands. Reviews say what cinnamon should taste like, and childhood memories in a jar. It's available everywhere, and the vibrant orange color indicates fresh, quality cinnamon. McCormick dominates because they've mastered the balance between quality, consistency, and price at massive scale. It succeeds on nostalgic brand recognition and actual quality. They're banking on you trusting 130 years of reputation, and the product backs it up. You're paying less than $3 for the gold standard everyone else gets compared against. And if you're finding this ranking useful, hit the like button. It really helps the channel cut through the noise. Number 2, Simply Organic Ceylon Cinnamon. Simply Organic Ceylon Cinnamon represents a fundamental shift because it's not cassia at all. It's true Ceylon cinnamon from Sri Lanka, hand-peeled from young trees. Launched by Frontier Co-op in 1976, this costs $4 to $5 and delivers something genuinely different. The real kicker is you're paying for a completely different species that's objectively healthier. What you get is true Silon with USDA organic certification and light reddish-brown color. The flavor is delicate and complex, purely sweet spicy without harsh notes. The aroma is intensely aromatic, almost intoxicating. The texture is fine, silky powder that feels premium. Lead content is minimal at 0.27 parts per million. But here's where it gets tricky. Silon contains 250 times less coumarin than cassia, making it liver safe for daily use. Customer reactions are comical. Tastes like cinnamon sugar without the sugar, and I licked it off my finger. At $4 to $5, it's double McCormick's price, but for a fundamentally superior product. Simply Organic exists because health-conscious consumers question why American cinnamon can damage your liver while Silon doesn't. They're banking on you caring about health benefits and superior taste, and once you try it, you become a convert. You're paying $5 for holiday magic that's scientifically safer for daily consumption. Number 1, Burlap and Barrel Royal Cinnamon. Burlap and Barrel Royal Cinnamon is what happens when a company founded in 2014 decides the spice industry has been doing things wrong for decades. This premium Vietnamese cassias costs $12 per 1.8 ounce jar. Yes, $12 for less than 2 ounces, and it's worth every penny. Bottom line, this is restaurant quality cinnamon that makes everything else taste like a rough draft. What you get is single origin Vietnamese cassia from specific farms with detailed sourcing information. The flavor is complex and nutty with perfectly balanced bittersweet notes and remarkable depth. The aroma is multi-layered with faint sweetness. One tester called it intoxicating. The texture is exceptionally fine and professional grade. Essential oil content reaches 7% versus 1 to 4% in standard cinnamon. Scientifically more potent. In the kitchen's blind taste test, this was the unanimous winner. One tester ate all the remaining cookies saying it's just so good. Reviews describe it as having nuttiness, bitterness, just really well rounded, with all sorts of flavor profiles beyond sweetness. Burlap and Barrel exists for serious cooks who want transparency, ethics, and exceptional quality. It succeeds by doing everything big brands don't: single origin sourcing, direct farmer relationships, small batch processing. They're banking on you understanding the difference between commodity cinnamon and this is like box wine versus aged Bordeaux. You're paying $12 for cinnamon, so good it makes you genuinely angry you've wasted years using anything else. The most shocking thing about this ranking isn't that dollar store cinnamon can contaminate your cookies. It's that most mid-range brands aren't any better than the cheap stuff. You're paying Target and Walmart premiums for the same mediocre quality with different labels. Supreme Tradition literally got recalled by the FDA for poisoning people, while Burlap and Barrel creates cinnamon so complex that professional testers can't stop eating it. The gap between worse and best isn't small. It's a chasm. Here's what nobody tells you. The cheapest option can harm you. The mid-range options are mostly interchangeable disappointment, and the difference between good and great is worth paying for. Don't trust expensive packaging. Don't assume organic means quality. And check if it's Silon or cassia before you buy. Hit subscribe if this changed how you'll buy spices. And drop a comment telling us which cinnamon brand you swear by, especially if we got your favorite completely wrong.